discussion? Call for the question. Those in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right, all in favor. Next, we have item 3A is the approval of reimbursement to the Roads Department for road and sign materials in the amount of $21,676.66.
Make a motion to approve the reimbursement to the roads department for roads and signs in the amount stated.
A second.
All right, is there any discussion? Call for the question. Those in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
All in favor. Next, we have item 3B, which is the approval of bid RFB 24-078.04 Chester CTC 2025 one-time money program, 2 state roads to LCI Lineberg Construction in the amount of $498,159.69. Do we want to receive information on that before a motion is taken? You ready for a motion on that?
We're ready for a motion unless council needs any explanation. And in that case, Ms. Bagley will, as well as Mr. Falconberry.
What are they? What two roads are they?
Mr. Falconberry?
So, it's Duke Street in Great Falls, Duke Street, both sections of it. It's broke up into 2 separate numbers, and it's Quail Hollow Circle.
You said you.
Duke, yep, and Quail Hollow Circle.
Yes, sir. Can we put your mic down, please?
Microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Duke Street, that's where a friend lives. And the other one, is this two Duke Streets there where it's
Yeah,
split?
yeah, where it splits, we're doing both pieces, and then the other street is Quail Hollow Circle
Okay.
over here in Chester.
Brian, do you mind, that's making up our state road to
Correct.
catch up on the percentage, correct?
Correct, yes.
All right, is there a motion for item 3B?
Make a motion to approve bid RFB 24-078-04.
Second.
All right, is there any discussion? All right, so all in favor to approve this bid, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right, all in favor. Next, we have item 3C, which is the approval of bid RFB 24-078.01, the Chester CTC 2025 one-time money phase 1 to LCI Lineberg Construction in the amount of $1,697,338.78. Is there a motion on that? Tell you what, before we take the motion, you want to give us some information?
Yep, the roads on that one are Clara's Court, Cloud Road, East Creek Road, Discovery Road, Hamilton Road, Huntington Drive, and Rocky Creek.
Huntington's at Fort Long, right?
Correct.
And is the Hamilton Road, is that the one in Chester or is that the one in Edgemore?
Edgemore,
What's the name of it?
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
All right, so is there a motion for item 3? Excuse me, that's 3C? 3C.
I'll make a motion, we approve 3C.
Second.
Is there any more discussion on that? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Those in favor to approve 3C, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right, all in favor. Next, we have item 3D, which is the approval of bid RFB 2425-30, Chester CTC 2025, resurfacing 9 roads, King Asphalt in the amount of $1,024,626.21. Why don't you come forward and give us a brief overview, and then we'll entertain a motion.
Sure thing. We've got 9 roads, as you said, 6 of those being state roads, including Martin Luther King Memorial Drive, Lowry Street, Nelson Road, Lincolnville Road, and Sycamore Road, and the NX Road. The other 3 are McCree Drive, Hosea Strong Road, and Looking Glass Drive.
what exactly did y'all decide y'all was gonna do on Creed Drive? It was a discussion about the grade of the asphalt or something that was going on that road. What did y'all,
It's gonna be an overlay of the road, existing road. We'll do patching on the areas that are broken up in the first area, and then do an overlay.
you know when this is gonna start? Do you know when they gonna start it?
I don't have a schedule from the contractor yet.
Okay.
The completion date is May 31st of 26.
Okay, thank you, sir.
What was the last road on there? I'm sorry.
Looking Glass Drive.
Looking Glass, okay. Thank you.
Are there any more questions or discussion? Call for the question. Those in favor to approve item 3D, which is approval of bid RFP 2425-30, raise your hand and say aye. Hold on, sorry, I sure messed that up. Let's
Oh,
back up,
sorry.
sorry. That's, I'll entertain a motion for that. Thank you.
I'll make a motion, we approve item 3D.
Second.
All right, thank you. So,
Yeah, well.
that's better. Is there any more discussion? So those in favor of item 3D to approve, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Got it right that time. All right, so next we have 3E, which is the Transportation Alternatives Program, the TAP grant information. Richard Turner again, so tell us about that.
Okay, so I've been working with Devin on a TAP grant, a Transportation Alternatives Program grant application to SCDOT to create a sidewalk project along Village Drive and McCandless Road, as well as a connection from the new Woodhaven subdivision into the middle school. You should have a map in front of you there that it's highlighted in yellow. Essentially, the plan would be to create a new sidewalk along Village Drive, right where the Woodhaven subdivision begins. Take that all the way to the end where it connects with McCandless Road, down to the Chester Nature Park, tying into Highway 9 and the existing sidewalks that are there. And then you can see a 10-foot shared use path that connects to Chester Middle School that's coming out of the development there. Woodhaven is going to build a sidewalk in an easement that they're providing, and then this essentially would connect to that and then have connections to the middle school itself on both sides, wrapping around the softball field. So that's the project, kind of what it's going to look like, or what it could look like if approved. Kind of give you a breakdown of the cost and the way the TAP program works. A letter of intent was submitted on Friday, and that's essentially hey, we're interested, this is what the program would look like, how much we estimated it would cost, which is total cost we are estimating around $1.7 million. The local match to that is 20%. However, Chester County qualifies as what's called a Tier 3 county, so it also allows for assistance from SCDOT for that local match. So the local match is local to South Carolina, not local to Chester in particular, because it is a federal program. So you're getting, so the opportunity here would be to 80 at a minimum, 90 I would say probably at a maximum amount that could be provided to the county for this project. So it would essentially creating a 10% match, and this is over time, so not a 10%, hey, CTC has to come up with a check today to pay for this. This is probably a 3 to 5 year range process. So it'd be something that the CTC could budget each year along the way. And what the county has done is teamed up with Chester County School District. Since it is on school property, it's actually in the school district's name. So they would be providing a match for the portion that is on the school district property itself. So there will be a share between the two entities to create that match. So overall, the match at a 10% level would be $174,000. $50,000 of that would be coming from the school district, and then the other would be coming from the county or the CTC. And like I said, that could be over a 3 to 5 year period, not a lump sum amount.
And if I may interrupt, Mr. Chairman, for just a minute, and we also, Ms. Bagley has been working with the builder, the developer at Woodhaven, If you remember, there's a project fee that was also taken there, we could use a portion of that. And then on top of that, we have a private donor who wants to pay for a portion of this project. And since we will have the engineering portion, that person wants to pay potentially for a section of concrete, maybe I'm not sure what their private donation is looking like yet, but they have come to us in favor of the project and would like to help as well. So I think at the end of the day, Devin and Richard have been working, potentially the county CTC could be less than $100,000 for something that would allow those neighborhoods that are going in there to have access to the schools as well as down to the park.
Are you looking for any action from CTC tonight?
No, sir, because the school district is the one who filed the TAP, and they've been a really good partner. Let me just say for the public's comment, or for public information, that the school district actually partnered with us. Devin had met with them, Richard had met with them a couple of times, and they partnered with us and actually applied for the grant. And what that did for us was left us the opportunity to apply for a TAP grant, because you can only apply for one at a time. So now that they applied for this, we could potentially apply for another one somewhere else in the county in the fall. But no action. This is really information only unless there's some type of dissension from the plan.
Well, is the money coming from the federal government or is it coming from the state government?
If the grant is awarded, the 80% or 90% would be a federal grant that is funneled through SCDOT. And then SCDOT would actually administer the project itself.
Council money, I don't think Trump's gonna approve all that, so we can go for it.
I think that'll be a great idea for the school and for the new houses. I think that'll be great. They can walk to the school if they go to the school. I think that'll be great for that neighborhood. Whose district that is? It's yours?
Part of it.
Yeah, mine.
Oh, no, I just asked.
I know, just.
I'd have to look at the line, but that one probably goes between Mr. Range and Mr. Guy somewhere in there too.
I don't think it's mine.
I don't think
so.
it is, yeah. I think it is.
I'd have to look at the line.
Is it past York Tech?
Well, at the end of the day, looking at it, it doesn't go to the school.
And if you look at the yellow in the back,
I'm looking at it, it does not go to the school. It goes down the road, so the kid's not gonna be walking to school.
right in the back, Mr. Agee.
Then it will have
Is
that
that a
road.
road? Yes, out there.
That's the subdivision.
Find out, we need to find out.
Well, I thought Woodhaven.
You'll find out for us, Mr. Hester, whose district that is,
I can tell you that.
please.
See it?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
See it?
And we have a firm commitment from Woodhaven to do their portion of the sidewalk. And that's gonna connect it all the way out to Village Drive.
That's correct.
Their interior sidewalks, is that?
Woodhaven's on both sides.
It's all bought.
I
Yes.
think that's great.
All right, is there any more discussion?
Excuse.
All right, so, we will move on to the next item. Thank you very much. Move on to the next item, which is 3F, which is the 2026 scoring proposal for road selection process. We have Devin Bagley, our Public Works Director.
Thank you. I think David's helping me out. Okay, so this is, sort of food for thought. We were looking at the old ordinance. And the current ordinance, and there's a formula associated with the current ordinance. So the current ordinance, as you know, prohibits C funds from being used on private property. It's for, well, it says it's for paving existing unpaved roads, widening existing roads, intersection improvements, transportation improvement projects, traffic safety projects, drainage improvements, sidewalks, and new drives to county facilities, or others as allowed by state law and approved by the County Transportation Committee. And the current formula, which is in your packet on the spreadsheet, on the PowerPoint, it scores things. It gives 2 points to residences, I believe. The type of roadway. Let's see, 2 points for each home, 4 points for, it says 2 points for each, is accredited for each home accessed from the road, 4 points is accredited for each permanent residence, and 5 points is accredited for the utilization for a school bus, and 8 points are accredited for a church. And we are proposing, we looked at another county, Fairfield County's formula, and we kind of combined ours and theirs and added some new things to propose this new formula, which would take into account work orders associated with the road. It heavily weighs the visual inspection done by our staff. It kind of gives residences and churches the same amount of points. School bus route still has 5 points. It also adds a commercial business or industrial factor, and whether it's in a projected growth area, if it's a through road, it gets points. The density of the development gets points. And if we have the history, if it's paved like 30 years ago, it gets 10 points. And we sum those together and weigh them. So the differences between the two formulas, one of the issues I think maybe with the existing formula would be that some roads are gravel roads and they're okay being gravel roads. That serves the purpose of that road. And that's kind of good for our team because that's work we can do in-house. We weigh the inspection grade of the road higher. We treat residences and churches the same. And we include, the commercial, industrial, and projected growth. So, sorry, I'm not keeping up on the PowerPoint very well. But we ran it with 2 roads in District 3, just so you could see how it kind of shakes out. Snell Grove Road, which is 0.6 miles long. I believe it had 8 work orders associated with it. No, 7 work orders associated with it. It got a grade of F. It has 8 residences. We're assuming it's a school bus route because I was waiting to hear back from the school district on that. No commercial, no industrial. It is in a potential growth area, and the density is 13.33, and it got a score of 235. And then we said, okay, let's see how Lakeshore Drive in the same district does. It's 0.66 miles long, 4 work orders associated with it, 28 residences, assuming it's in a school bus route, no commercial, no industrial. It is in a potential growth area. It has a density of 42.42. So it got a score of 219.42. So this is just a formula we're proposing to give roads a score for you guys so that when you suggest roads to us, we can come back to you with sort of more data and assist in prioritizing.
If you're looking at Lakeshore and you're comparing Lakeshore and Snell Grove, it's not apples and oranges. It's not even plums and bananas. There's one brick house on Snail Grove, the rest of them are mobile homes. Then you got Doe, Fawn, and Antler Drive off of that are all mobile homes. And it's all dirt roads and stuff like that. Snail Grove was partially paved, it may all be paved now. And you got Lakeshore, which didn't have a house on it, it's probably not at least $300,000-400,000. So you're not, if you want to pave Snail Grove and you want to pave Lakeshore, it's two different animals.
But I don't think it has to do with the houses, it has to do with the roads, right? We're not looking at, is there the permanent residences there, correct? I know
Right,
how many Lakeshore has, it's right across from me.
right.
So that's the only thing that we're looking at, is the length of the road, how it is, and how it
Well, I
rates,
mean,
correct?
If you start digging on the sidewalks like they did at Friendship Drive in Cherry Hills versus Snell Grove, is two different deals. You won't get away with Friendship Drive doing it in Cherry Hills like you did, because those people are not gonna stand for it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think those were just examples, and what happened on Friendship, Ms. Bagley wasn't here. But this is just for information purposes, for council, for you guys to look at, consider, to see, we really need to upgrade our ordinance, and that's all we're asking you all to look at. Is she's offering a solution, one possible solution, and so we don't, no vote needed tonight on that, Mr. Chairman. Just want to give you guys the ability to reach out to Ms. Bagley and have some input on what you think about the proposed changes to how the formula for how we look at our roads. And again, we can call a special called meeting this summer sometime, maybe in June or July, to kind of go over this process again after some input from council.
These two assessment examples, are they using the new scoring system, the proposed system, or
Right.
the old system?
They're using the new one. We
All
wanted to
four
kind of
pages
test
are
it out.
Okay,
Mhm.
just the two different way of presenting each one on the first two pages for the first road.
The first road.
I mean, it's just a graph versus,
For
If you ask me,
Snail
I
Grove,
think-
they're both plugged into the formula on the Excel looking sheet.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And
This is not the old system, this is the new system.
this is the new
Okay,
system,
thank you.
right? And it does take into account residences, industrial, protected growth, things like that. Okay,
Gotcha.
but I'm happy to, consider any and all comments. Let us know how you feel about it.
I want to make sure that any formula we use doesn't leave out any roads for a indefinite amount of time. You know, if a road gets in poor enough condition, even if it is a really long road or it doesn't have any residents, eventually we have to take action. So we just want to make sure we're not leaving out roads by
Right,
using a formula, which I think there's enough leeway where we could, ultimately is CQC's option,
absolutely.
right? So that remains. But,
Absolutely, yeah, and it should score poorly because the highest weighted thing is condition.
I like
Well,
what Mr. Wilson said too, but y'all, all these roads need to be fixed in Chester. If you break it all the way down, you just need to get all these roads in Chester fixed. And then we ain't gotta worry about it no more.
One thing we don't want to forget, we got Lynn Road over there that the pulpwood company tore slam up. You can't even drive down. We sat down here talking to them. I understand the highway department is over there right now, probably getting ready to fix it. I don't know that, but that's the stuff hell been raised about it, that they're gonna get something done about it. But we don't need to forget that when the pulpwood company tears up one of our state roads, somebody's gotta wait till we get that road fixed.
So how does a road that, I may have missed it, but how does a road that's never been paved, that's possibly a dirt road, or how does it grade? And that has a significant amount of houses, but,
That you would like to see paved.
and that I may like to see paved in my area, like I have I can't think of the name of it right now. It's up the street from me.
I think I can help you there. And so the ordinance will be written in a way that, while this is a formula to grade current roads, you all as council members and members of the CTC can still recommend and justify any roads that you want to pave, just like you can now. You can still go against a grading system, and so we're still gonna have that open free market for council to make their own choices for their district, that suits their constituents as well. This is just a tool. That's all this is. It won't be the only tool.
Thank you very much for this.
Yeah.
I've got one more item on the agenda, and that's 3G, which is the approval of a petition to SCDOT for ownership of Makalele Street associated with ADA improvements. Mr. Escher.
Yes, sir, and I'll try to be as brief as I can with this, but what I'm asking council to consider, or CTC to consider, is for us to take ownership of Makalele Street, which is the road right behind the courthouse. It's probably approximately, I don't know, 100 yards in length is the length of it. We are currently in the process of a couple of projects on that road. Duke Power's actually upgrading transformers and lines in that area. But we have an ADA project for both family court and the courthouse. And these are major ADA upgrades that we have to get done. And we have two choices. We can either go with a plan that's going to cost us an exorbitant amount of money, and then I'm going to have to figure out how we're going to pay for the rest of this project. Or if we make this a one-way street, we can work with the grade on the street, because right now, if you guys have been back there, you know that the family court building is on top of the sidewalk, which is on top of the road, and almost the same as the courthouse. And so to get the grade out of the ADA compliance that we need for both family court and the courthouse, we need to extend out into that road. And so by making it a one-way street, it gives us the opportunity to take some of that road. The only way to make it a one-way street is to petition South Carolina DOT for ownership of that. We're in a position to go ahead and move forward with that, but I need council's approval for us to take ownership of that road. It'll become a county road as opposed to a state road at that point.
Any comments?
That's in my district, ain't it?
I'm sorry?
District.
Yes,
That's in
sir.
my district, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
It's in the city, how would that conflict with the city?
The city does not maintain our own roads.
Nope.
Even ones that are in the city, we take care of all
Okay,
roads
that's
that are
right.
within the city, so it would still remain our road.
Okay, I got you.
There are some residents, some people who live in the buildings up above. Would that one-way street, would that have anything to do with school bus traffic, picking up any kids, anything that may live in those apartments, having a?
That's a good question, and I'm not sure where the drop-off is. I'm not sure, I'm not even sure the bus turns down that street. Right now, you have cars parked there on both sides anyway, so it's almost really a one-way street because there is no outline parking and they do park. I have talked with one of the building owners who does have units in the building, and there's no opposition to what we're doing. We're actually talking about making the parking lot there as well a one-way parking lot, the one on the hill that we use part of for the courthouse. So we're talking about doing that as well, just to alleviate some hazard issues with those hills and so forth.
What about the judge's parking?
The judge will still have his parking. This actually gives him a parking spot right up beside his entrance. And so the solicitor and the public defender, their parking spots will still remain. So it's a good design on the project. It's just we need a little more space.
Taking on this, can you see any associated costs that could be, if we take the street on, other than keeping the road up and?
Our plan right now is going to repair sidewalk, and this will be good because part of this plan will fix a good portion of the sidewalk, as well as we'll probably have to resurface a portion of the road as part of this project. So probably actually be good for it. As little traffic goes on that street one way back and forth, and the wear and tear, you don't have big trucks and so forth. Any work we do should last forever. Either way you look at it, when it comes down to getting that road paved or fixed, it's going to either be on our 33% or 25% number, or it's going to be in our county funds anyway.
Thank you.
It need to be fixed now.
It does, and so it's kind of at that point, and so this will at least, part of our project will catch a portion of it.
Gotcha.
All right, so is there a motion to move forward with that?
I'll make that motion.
I second.
All right, is there any more discussion? Those in favor on the petitions to die for ownership on Macalela Street, raise your hand, say aye. All in favor? All right, so, that brings us to council comments. Is there any comments remaining?
I do have one question for Ms. Bagley, if I could do that. What is the status of Friendship Drive?
Well, Friendship Drive, we've had ice go out there several times. I think the issue there is that it was a 10-foot road, and it's pretty much as wide as it can be without getting more easements and extending culverts. And that is something the CTC look at doing, but I think the complaints we're getting with regards to Friendship Drive are about the width of it, but that is the actual width of the road.
Well,
So they paved a road, and, you know, gravel kind of is more malleable.
They did a crappy job of paving the road, but that's my opinion. Because they didn't go back in there, they took red mud in there, and this lady's absolutely burnt my phone up almost every week.
Now, it's not closed. The seeding and stabilization work is still open. That has not been closed out.
Well, there was a tractor-trailer truck at the very end of it. Somebody should have seen a tractor-trailer truck at the very end of it before they started building the road. That tractor-trailer truck's gonna do the same thing the logging trucks do. And you were not here, so please don't take, this was just a mess. And I would really like to see this get fixed.
And I think when we're looking at roads, we look at what's the proper solution for them. They can score poorly, but maybe they don't need to be paved, maybe they don't need to be completely resurfaced. You know, we can look at the appropriate solution.
Well, we paid a lot of money to a company to go in there to do that.
Are there any more comments? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor,